How do we decide what time we start our fast for after school? Because I've seen lots of different mosques with different times,
Yeah.
and they vary at 2 hours, 3 hours, in between. Like some of them are 1:30 and
Yeah.
start fasting,
Yeah.
and some of them are 3:30.
Yeah.
So it can be quite difficult, and you don't want to be doing the wrong thing. How can I?
Yeah. So this question is about the times when you're fasting. How do you know when to fast? Some of the mosques fasting at 1:30, some of them fasting at 3:30. You don't want to do the wrong thing. I forgot where I was. I've been moving around a lot recently. I was somewhere, and I heard someone who has. Oh, okay. I was in a mosque. Now it's coming back. I was in a mosque in London, and the Imam was talking about this subject, and he was saying that he's mentioning one of the times, and he said this is the correct position, and therefore be adherent to that. He mentioned the two other positions, and he said this is the correct position. But I thought that was a mistake to say that, because if I say this is the correct position, well, and then someone else says that his position is the correct position, then the people like you and me are saying, well, there can't be two correct positions, can there? And then there's a problem. But the truth is there can be two correct positions. There can be two correct positions. Meaning that in Islam, this kind of like, have you heard this idea of my way or the highway? That is an Americanism if there ever was one. You have motorways here in the first place. So you're not going to say it here, my way or the motorway, but my way or the highway is a very much an American kind of sentiment, which is that, look, if you're not, like, oh, have you heard this? If you're not with us, you're against us? Yeah, that's what Bush said. Yeah, if you're not with us, you're against us. So it's a very American way of dealing with things, that there has to be, some of our brothers in Islam have adopted this kind of attitude too. It's wrong. It's not my way or the highway. It's not me, my way, or you're out of Islam, something like that. Like, I don't know where this is coming. I mean, I do know where this is coming from, but it's not from the Prophet. So when we have this, what you need to do is, with whatever research that you're comfortable with doing, find one of them that you're most comfortable with, and then stick with that particular position. If it's 1:30 or 3:30 or whatever the case may be, find whatever the one that is that you find more comfortable. In other words, that you feel better about with Allah, and stick with that. And then if somebody else wants to do a different time, even if it's not a house, don't give them a hard time, because at least they're worshiping Allah. So how do you figure it out? It's simple. You have a choice. You have a choice.
Okay.
Because there's different ways to determine how the sun's doing, what the sun's not doing, and when it's doing and when it's not doing it. There's ways to determine that. If there's only one way to determine that, then there'll be a problem, because then it's either the conclusion is either you accept it or you don't. But if there's different ways to measure something, then sometimes.
So what is the way of measurement, like with the eye, to know when Fajr starts?
The measurement with the eye, I think that's the problem, I think.
Is there no way?
I think that's the problem. I mean, I'm new here. This whole, fasting 19 hours stuff, and, Fajr is that, what 1:30 means to me, where I'm from? 1:30 to me is like the middle of the night. I don't understand how does the sun show itself at like 1:30 or even 3:30 is kind of incredible.
Yeah, we don't get pitch black nighttime in the summer.
Yeah.
So that's one of the problems as well.
I get it. You look outside, it's kind of stays.
Yeah.
The further you go north, man, it's ridiculous. I know what you mean. But I mean, the underlying problem is really being able to deal with differences of opinion.
Yeah,
that's the underlying problem. And just know that you don't be dogmatic about things when there's no room to be. That's what I had a problem a little bit with this Imam talking, the way he framed his response to this person. I thought it was difficult, because that's what the other person thinks, and their opinion is right. That's what's causing everyone to have problems.
thank you.
So just study it, see which one, make an informed decision about it. And once you decide it, then stick with it. Don't do don't bounce around. And then it's like one evening you got like biryani or something like that sitting there. It's like 1:30 and you're like, yeah, but that looks really good, so I'm gonna go 3:30 today. So and then the next day there's no biryani, so you're like, whatever, 1:30 is fine. That's your nafs to find one and then stick with it. Then it becomes ibadah that way.